Happy Valentine's Day to you. It is that time of year again. Happy Valentine's Day. I say everyone has a Valentine. Sometimes it's not a romantic Valentine, but there's always someone we care about, and they're our Valentine, right? I was asking about Valentine memories yesterday in one of my classes, and someone mentioned the elementary school Valentine's Day party, and I had forgotten all about elementary school Valentine's Day parties. I thought, oh, that's so cool. Remember making all the little Valentine sacks or whatever boxes. Some teachers did sacks, some did boxes. I remember taking a Kleenex box to make a Valentine's box. I called my sister last night, and she's got like little grandkids that she's raising, and they were making Valentine sacks at their house last night. So I'm like, see, we used to do that in school, but I guess they told them to make it and bring it today. So they were doing that. And I was thinking, oh, yeah, I remember those days. So we'll get back into all that again since we're about to have a grandbaby. I'm excited. Bring on the grandbaby. Right now, my daughter's very selfish. She's the only one that gets to hold the baby. I'm going to start harassing her about that. Hey, some of the rest of us would like to hold the baby, but she plans on holding the baby until May. And then I think she's going to start sharing then. So she's been holding the baby for over 6 months. It's funny, actually, she texted us yesterday and said that the baby had hiccups. So her belly was just kind of like, it's like, that's funny. I remember that happening once or twice when my wife was pregnant. It doesn't happen real often, but yeah, the baby had hiccups in there. So her belly's just got this little thing going. It's like, yeah, I bet that's a weird feeling. That's got to be a weird feeling when your belly's got the hiccups. So it's kind of funny. It hadn't happened to her before. So she was like, oh, wow. Baby's got the hiccups. So fun stuff. All the stuff of being pregnant, all the things, the weird, nothing like creating life inside of your body, I guess. Growing a baby in there. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for me. I can't wait to be a granddad. So bring that baby on there. Yeah, I'll put this up for you here. I got a picture, just what I do with it. Oh, there you go. Maybe this is a lot of people's theme today for Valentine's Day. This may relate to a lot of people. Just a little chuckle. There you go. Little chuckle for the day. I'm not looking for love. I'm looking for chocolate. You betcha. Oh, and I got this here today too. What's your Valentine's Day mood? SpongeBob. He's like the eternal optimist, right? He's always happy and assumes the best in every situation. Look at him throwing his hearts around. As opposed to Squidward. Not necessarily same situation there. Laura says, I had a lot of people at 3 in programming this morning. A lot of 3s and 1s and like 1, 2. I had one person that was a 2, but a lot of 3s and 1s. Hello, Dallin. Welcome to Valentine's Day. We were just looking at what's your Valentine's Day mood today. We can't all be a SpongeBob, but I'm kind of a SpongeBobby today. I'm in a good mood. In a good mood for Valentine's Day. Just one of those days. This is also my sister-in-law's birthday. So my wife's birthday is on Groundhog Day, and her sister is on Valentine's Day. So that's just how it is with those two. So All right, let's look at our cybersecurity since we're going to our grade screen. I need to close out that module 4 for now. All right, so we've had 3 lessons. This week we have the future of cybersecurity, 6.04. So we'll take a look at that. I think I saw you already had this one done, Dallin. He's on top of it. I liked this one. I was looking at this lesson before because this is the future. Cybersecurity is just going to be more and more and more important because we're not getting any less computerized out there. In fact, with the AI now, there's going to be even more and more everything. The future of cybersecurity is hard to predict. Sure, it's constantly changing. All the unstable behaviors of criminals, new attacks they develop. Cybercrime is a crime. Several government agencies make it a priority to thwart the attacks, right? So the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, it's a federal anti-hacking statute passed in 1984. See, they knew this was going to be a problem way back then. Back just when the internet was getting started. It was just emerging. It really wasn't many people didn't have it at home yet, but it was starting to be a thing. It prohibited unauthorized access to computers and networks and expanded existing criminal laws to address the growing concern about computer crimes. So that was 40 years ago. We've had this on the books. It was a cutting piece of legislation for its time, but its guidelines were very broad because they didn't really have a whole lot of specifics on how anything was going to work. So as cybercrime grows at a fast and furious rate, many people struggle with the appropriate levels of punishment. So that's a good question. What is appropriate? The maximum penalty for crimes under that was 10 years and 20 years for repeat offenders, which, the stuff we can see them doing now, hacking and taking out like electrical grids for multiple states, 20 years doesn't seem like it might be enough. So what is considered a criminal offense under that act? Committing computer espionage, using a computer to defraud others, breaching or sharing a password without authorization, causing or threatening to cause damage to a computer, sharing a program, information, or code as a result of unauthorized access. So you go and you break in and you take some code and share it with other people. Extorting, threatening, or harming anyone as a result of unethical online behavior. Accessing without authorization a computer or computer system used by a financial institution, the U.S. government agency, any U.S. government agency, any organization or individual involved in interstate or foreign commerce or communication. So you can see this is pretty broad. This covers a whole lot of areas. There's a lot of things that fall into that window. The CFAA creates a private right of action for individuals and companies to sue and recover funds from anyone who violates the law. Several notable cases have been prosecuted under this act, including cyberbullying, website hacking, creation of cyber worms, misuse of protected information, code manipulation, distribution of software bugs, and data vandalism. Legal issues around the internet can be tricky because the statute can be interpreted in different ways by different people because it's so broad. As cybersecurity continues to evolve, so will the laws that govern the actions. No doubt, it'll have to. We'll have to pass more laws and get more specific. So, emerging cyber crimes. Personal information is not the only thing cyber criminals are after. Cyber criminals also steal and share the intellectual property of others, like trade secrets. Right? If you can get the recipe for Coca-Cola or Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? Copyright, patent, trademark, all different types of intellectual property. Although the 3 types of IP are very different, people often confuse them. IP being intellectual property. A copyright is the legal right of an author, a publisher, composer, or other person who creates a work to be the exclusive person to print, publish, distribute, or perform the work. They've got a copyright. They're the only ones who can print that book, right? Or whatever. Or that code that they wrote. A patent is a right granted to an inventor by the federal government that permits the inventor to exclude others from making, selling, or using the invention for a period of time. Patent systems designed to encourage inventions that are unique and useful to society. So if you patent it, nobody else can make it exactly like you do because you've got the patent. And a lot of times patents are like 99 years or something. A lot of them different, I think, depends on what it is. but that gives you the only one that can make it exactly that way. So that way you can benefit from your creation. A trademark is the registered name or identifying symbol of a product that can only be used by the product's owner. Right? A trademark violation involves counterfeiting or copying the brand name products, like well-known types of shoes, clothing, other electronic equipment, and selling them as genuine original products. You see a lot of these scammers use the iPhone name, but it's not an iPhone, or Nike shoes, and they're not Nike shoes and stuff. That's a trademark infringement, not a copyright or patent, different type of thing. So what's protected here? Under copyright is original works of authorship, books, articles, songs, photographs, artwork, choreography, recordings, movies, any other work like that. To be protected, it must be original, creative, and fixed in a physical medium, not just in your head. You have actually had to put it on paper or record it or something. It can't just be an idea I had. Someone stole my copyright of this idea. No, you didn't ever make it a physical thing. Here's the term of protection. Copyrights are for the author's life plus 70 years. So 70 years after your death, your work is still copyrighted. 71, now it's free game. Anyone can use it. The rights granted by copyright, you have the right to control the reproduction, the making of the derivative works, the distribution and public performance, and the display of the copyrighted works. So you're the only one that can distribute it and perform it and all that kind of stuff. Copyright plus 70 years. So patents, inventions like machines, manufactured goods, compositions of matter, as well as improvements to these. Invention must be new and useful. You can't patent something that's already been around. It's like, well, that's already there. Oh, here it is. Patents are 20 years. Right to prevent others from making, selling, using, or importing the patent invention. A lot of drugs they patent because you'll see a new drug come out and it'll be real expensive, but they're the only ones that can make that drug for 20 years. And then after 20 years, you start seeing the cheap generic version of that same drug because after 20 years, their patent doesn't apply anymore. So a lot of the older drugs that's been around forever, ibuprofen and Tylenol and all that, you can get generics of those exact same drugs. And a lot of antibiotics and stuff that's been around a long time, you can get a generic that's a lot cheaper. But the newer stuff, the stuff you see on TV, Skyrizi and those kind of drugs you see the commercials for all the time, no one else can make Skyrizi, at least not for 20 years. Trademark, what's protected? Any word, phrase, symbol, or design that identifies or distinguishes the source of goods of one party from those of another. That McDonald's logo, that's a trademark. Coca-Cola, the Nike swoosh, all that stuff is a trademark, and nobody else can use that. It says a mark must be distinctive. You can't just say, oh, I made this line right here, and this is my line. Well, that's just a line. There's nothing unique about a line. And you're protected as long as it's used in commerce. That company goes out of business, no longer they make Nikes, then other people can start using the Nike logo and get away with it because the trademark is no longer being used. So the rights granted are the right to use the mark and to prevent others from using similar marks in a way that would cause a likelihood of confusion. Like if someone takes a swoosh and they just turn it the other direction. No, that's going to create, that's close enough to the original swoosh that Nike uses that they would be able to protect that in court to not use my swoosh. Somebody makes a McDonald's M that's yellow and maybe just a different font of M, but still very close to the same M. McDonald's can protect that in court as a trademark infringement. All right, digital rights. So how can intellectual property be protected in a world where users can share it in just seconds? So digital rights management controls access to copyrighted material using technological means. DRM, digital rights management, it's a way to protect copyrights for digital media. DRM uses codes that prevent copying or limit how long the content can be accessed. So what happens if someone tries to circumvent the DRM? The Digital Millennium Copyright Act was created in 1998 as an anti-piracy statute, basically making it illegal to sidestep copy protections. It was designed to prevent pirates from duplicating digital copyright works and selling and freely distributing them. Copying movies, copying songs, all those kind of things. Programs. So common DRM technology, Fairplay. Fairplay was software that's is used for Safari and Apple devices. If anyone else is using that, they probably duplicated it and they'll get in trouble for that. Widevine. It was developed by Widevine Technologies and bought by Google. Google bought it. It's used on Android devices and in Chrome and in Roku and smart TVs. And then there's something called PlayReady, and it was developed and maintained by Microsoft. It's supported on Windows, and most TVs use PlayReady. So these are some different technologies that are protected. Do you know that Apple used the DMCA in 2009 to suppress discussion among members of the public wiki hosting site BlueWiki? Apple used the DMCA to request that members stop discussing ways that they could unlock their iPods to sync music playlists between the iPods and the iPhones without needing to use iTunes, because they had it locked in. You couldn't update nothing on your iPod without using iTunes. And according to Apple, even talking about reverse engineering for interoperability violated the DMCA. BlueWiki pushed back on that. They said, no, we can talk about this. There's nothing wrong with that. And eventually Apple backed off. But they were trying to do that to protect that. Don't even talk about how to hack into our stuff. They didn't win that in court. The future of cybersecurity. No one can predict the future and their impact on cybersecurity. The cyber crimes are going to be out there. Much of the legislation is vague because we don't specifically know what all kind of cyber crime to look for. And it's not always clear how a cyber criminal should be punished. These types of challenges are often the responsibility of law enforcement and local authorities. Yes, the internet's a wonderful resource for sharing information, provides a wealth of knowledge, but it's also got the potential to aid criminals in their quest to harm victims. We've got a lot of most of our lives' information is out there on the internet somewhere. And if somebody with bad intentions finds it, they can create all kinds of problems. Cybersecurity professionals will ultimately help shape the future of how these crimes are handled. It will require experts willing to look at the risks and trends from all sides. Additionally, organizations will need to understand the importance of creating a strong organizational security policy and training plan. So these policies are going to play an important role in ensuring that employees and those who use the technology do it in a responsible manner. So here's what a successful cybersecurity professional must have. Here's the skills. If you want to go into this field, which is a great field, the ability to examine security in its entirety. Don't just look at individual attacks, but look at the big picture. If you can develop that skill to really look to see where is our vulnerability, where's the holes in our system. Well-developed understanding of security issues related to the internet, computer technology, and networks. An understanding of best practices and the role of security policies in regulating cybersecurity. So you got to know what's out there, what it's being done that's working well. What are the best practices? The capacity to organize a thought out and effective security plan. Can you plan a good security? And the desire to continuously learn about technology and how attacks can happen. So yeah, you got to be a continuous learner because computers are changing constantly. So are you up for the challenge? The future of cybersecurity is paved with uncertainty, but understand these core ideas, have a firm grasp on how to plan will go a long way in securing our networks and data. So good stuff. So we just have the assignment that goes with this. It's 5 questions. Talks about what we talked about in there. But it's interesting to see what people are trying to do. I had just this week. And I don't know what these people are trying to do. I just know that they're up to no good. And it's not the first time I've had this too. I made a comment on some post on Facebook. And let's see, there it is. And within seconds, I mean, it didn't take long at all. I don't know if it's a computer that automatically does this. I had a comment reply to my comment on Facebook from someone named Angel Anthony, and it has this picture of this sexy woman, right? So, it's probably a fake profile. And it had nothing to do with my comment. They didn't say a thing about my comment. Here's what they said. Mr. Brock, apologize for dropping this here, but it feels too great to visit your profile. Now, see, when they have bad English, this is some hacker trying to do something stupid. Apologize for dropping this here, but it feels too great to visit your profile. I always enjoy what you share here on Facebook, but we're not friends yet. I have tried several times to send you a friend request, but it's not going through. Do you mind trying from your side? I'll be happy to be friends with you. If you find this message embarrassing, please pardon my manners and accept my apologies. Thank you. Yeah, that's fake. That's entirely fake. They want me to send them a friend request. Because that probably doesn't make them look as suspicious and get their profile reported and deleted. If they're sending profiles to, they're sending friend requests to people, they might get caught more than if people are sending friend requests to them. Makes them look more innocent. And this is at least the second or third time this has happened where they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I tried to send you a friend request, it wouldn't do it." So I reported it to Facebook, and I replied back and I said, "You can take your scammer butt back to Nigeria," because most Facebook posts and text posts are Nigeria. We know that, but we know India and Philippines is most phone calls. I said, "Everything you posted is a lie, and you're a pathetic embarrassment of a person." And I said, "Don't worry, I reported that your account was having trouble sending friend requests, so Facebook can check your account and get that fixed for you. I won't be surprised if your account suddenly becomes unavailable." So I haven't heard anything back from them. I don't expect I will. They may be using a computer to automatically send that crap out. But looking at their profile, they have no friends. No one has sent them a friend request. Their profile still exists with no friends out there. So the things these hackers do, it's just amazing. And I don't know what they want to do. They want to somehow get something going, and I'm not going to play their game, but you just got to watch yourself. If there's these random requests on social media, it's probably hackers trying somehow to get some information from you that they can use against you or to steal. So, all right, guys, that's all of our lesson this week. Next week, I'll figure out where we're going. The school's still trying to get the virtual lab thing figured out. It didn't meet the security standards, which is interesting. Apparently, that virtual lab site does not protect information well enough. It doesn't have a lot of privacy built into it, which is really odd for a cybersecurity lab. But our technology is trying to get in touch with them and see if they can't fix those things and we can use it. If not, we'll switch to a different course. We'll do something else curriculum. So hopefully I'll have that figured out by next Monday and we'll go from there. But as soon as I get that figured out, I'll get something loaded into Buzz. So we're not going to do Unit 4 at this time unless they change things on their privacy. So, all right, guys, have a great week. Got questions? There's no more A days this week. We got two B days left. So we'll see you guys next week.